Republicans in Alabama scored a big win from the Supreme Court. In a 5-4 vote, the court is allowing the state to use its newly drawn congressional map in this year's election, despite a lower court saying that it violated black voters' rights. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams joins us now. Pete, will you just break down this decision for us? I mean, why did the court decide to allow these new maps?
Can't be sure about that because this is not a regular Supreme Court ruling on the merits of a case. This is an order. And all we know is what two of the justices, Brett Kavanaugh and Samuel Alito, said. They said that basically the lower court ruling requiring the state to add a second black congressional district in addition to the one you see here in red, that's the seventh one, which includes Birmingham and some counties on the western side of the state, would come too late. This is what Kavanaugh said. Late judicial tinkering with election laws can lead to disruption and unanticipated and unfair consequences for candidates, political parties, and voters, among others. And it is true that over the years, the Supreme Court, under a ruling called Purcell, that's the name of the original case, said that federal courts should generally refrain from endorsing late changes that would cause potential chaos in how states organize their elections. So that's what the court did. But there's really two actions yesterday. One is blocking a lower court order that said the state should create a second black majority district. But then secondly, agreeing to hear Alabama's appeal of that ruling, which will get into the whole question of whether the Voting Rights Act requires states to do this.
You know, it's interesting, Pete, because my home state of North Carolina has been seeing a similar battle. And the truth is there are lots of states who are seeing similar legal fights over these newly drawn district maps. So how could this order by the Supreme Court now impact states like North Carolina, like Ohio, like New York?
Well, it depends on whether the challenges and the desire to create more majority districts for black voters are happening under state or federal law. In some states, the actions are entirely based on the state constitution. So, in essence, the Supreme Court's action here won't change it. But where the federal courts are involved, it's important. And here's why. It was the Voting Rights Act in 1965 that said states with a history of racial discrimination, like Alabama, like North Carolina, like many southern states, had to get permission either from a federal court or the Justice Department before they drew new boundaries for district lines for state legislature and congressional districts after taking into account population shifts as a result of each census. But in 2013, the Supreme Court took away that requirement. So now we have a new regime where states go ahead and make these changes, and then the lawsuits are filed. So the question is, what's left of the Voting Rights Act? And what basically the liberals were saying yesterday is Alabama seems to basically meet the test of the Voting Rights Act. You have a contiguous area, a concentration of minority voters that tend to vote cohesively, but that are all chopped up and they can't choose the candidate of their choice. So it's that logic that's at stake here.
Very interesting. Pete Williams, as always. Professor Pete, thank you for breaking it down for us. We appreciate it. I wish I had had your class in college. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.